Hello and welcome to What the Wrestling, a show where I take a look at the world of professional wrestling, particularly the major companies in the United States, and basically just talk about what happened, my thoughts, and all that stuff. I'm going to begin on NXT with their premium live event Deadline, which featured the men and women's Iron Survivor Challenge. The Iron Survivor Challenge is a brand new innovative match, and is brand new and innovative because it is incredibly stupid. It is, what if we made a multi-person Iron Man match, but gave it Royal Rumble elements? In total, each Iron Survivor Challenge is 25 minutes long. It begins with 2 of the 5 competitors. Every 5 minutes, one of the remaining 3 competitors will enter the ring. Finally, at the 15-minute mark, with 10 minutes left to go, every competitor is now competing in the ring. That is, unless someone suffers a fall. If they were pinned, or were made to submit, or were disqualified, because it is a disqualification-riddled match, they are forced into a penalty box for a minute, at which point they do not have the ability to score any falls. And the competitor, at the end of the full 25, wins the whole darn thing. You still with me so far? Because that was way more complicated than it needed to be. Why didn't you just have a multi-man or woman Iron Man match and be done with it? Over in AEW, William Regal had presented his final test of villainy for Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who apparently passed it with flying colors. And just when you thought William Regal was now going to side with and manage MJF, MJF completely betrayed William Regal in the most obvious way possible, and we have not seen Lord Regal ever since. WWE did its yearly tribute to the troops, since it was December, where they went on their USO show to the Middle East, where our servicemen and women are, servicing, and put on a show for them. There's really not much to say other than just noting that they do this every year. It's good work, and hooray. December saw Kurt Angle's birthday. The former Olympian and WWE superstar had an event where, in his hometown of Pittsburgh, he celebrated his birthday for the WWE fans. The Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and 4 Point Otis, decided to crash that party and push Kurt Angle away and eat his birthday cake themselves, like the proper jerks they are. Kurt Angle uncharacteristically let this happen and walked away, only to come back a little bit later with a gigantic milk truck, very similar to when he did this same trick back in his heyday, and doused the ring with a lot of milk because, and I'm quoting here, after all that cake, you're going to need a lot of milk. It was a funny segment and a callback to something he's done before. But I just feel like I should have mentioned it. And speaking of something that's compulsory, John Cena's mandatory match of the year. The very last night of the year, that SmackDown, John Cena wound up having a match where he teamed up with Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn of the Bloodline. It wasn't for anything important, so naturally they let John Cena win. But before that, we had the Christmas, or close enough to the Christmas, edition of Raw and Impact Wrestling. Both of which decided they were going to give their superstars a break and do wrestling clip shows instead. Nothing really wrong with that. And heck, Impact does that every year. But for Raw, it was a little disjointed just because we had the Street Profits host in a Matrix-like completely white room. And I don't know what the deal was with that. But it was jarring to me. Thankfully, that wasn't the entirety of the show, and we eventually went to a studio with others to take a look at the rest of the wrestling year. And I hope all of you enjoyed your wrestling year. I will, of course, be back next month to talk about what happened during January, including my favorite event of the year, the Royal Rumble. But until then, I'll see you in the ring.